getting a brand new race in Dragonflight, the DRACTHYR, and we know for a fact that Wrathion will be playing a significant role in the new expansion, as was confirmed by Blizzard in interviews. However, what will that role be? We know that the Black Dragonflight is all but non-existent at the moment, and Wrathion was always presented as a really significant character that never really amounted to that much, and he sees himself as the original Neltharion, meaning he wants to claim his legacy, and his legacy are the DRACTHYR. So is Dragonflight his spotlight, and could Wrathion be taking control over his father's ancient army, the DRACTHYR on the Dragon Isles, in the upcoming conflict in the new expansion?
We'll see. At the end of the day, he is only one of two. We have Ebonhorn, and we have our boy Wrathion. Two uncorrupted black dragons. Ebonhorn seems to take the stance that he doesn't want to get involved. He seems to be pretty laid back. Wrathion, on the other hand, believes he has a rightful claim to the throne as the Black Dragon King. Which one will get it?
All of you that played WoW during Mists of Pandaria definitely remember Wrathion. I mean, he played the roles in pretty much all the expansions since then, thus far, but back in Mists of Pandaria, that was really his spotlight, and when all of us believed he would become a really significant character in the future. He apparently had these big visions for what is to come, yet it never really amounted to all that much, or
took a little bit of a break.
Significant. Yeah, I mean, he did fight the old gods in BFA, but back then we were talking about some crazy conflict for the survival of the universe, which might finally, after a decade, be happening in Dragonflight. We thought he knew something none of us knew, and that he's the only person that could lead us to victory, and that he could only save Azeroth. So who exactly even is Wrathion, and what is going on with him? People always call him the son of Deathwing. He calls himself the son of Deathwing, but technically all the black dragons are the children of Deathwing, so he isn't exactly his heir, but dragons don't really work the way humanoids work. It isn't exactly hereditary in the traditional sense, the way you would think of it. Why Wrathion is really important is that we first believed he was the only uncorrupted black dragon, the only surviving one, and then
until
we learned about a few more, but still he is one of the
learned about a few more, but the only real other one that we learned who like played a major role was Ebonhorn, right? We learned about him back in BFA when we got our High Mountain Tauren friends in the game, and Ebonhorn played a pretty good role in BFA. You know, we got to know him pretty well. We did some quest lines, some Black Dragon quest lines with him, and he was a very cool, level-headed black dragon. He seemed to have, leadership qualities, right? He was the kind of guy that you could see leading the black dragons. But I think our boy Wrathion would have a problem with that, because he just feels that it's his birthright to lead the black dragons. Whereas Ebonhorn really hasn't talked about it and doesn't seem to have any interest in leading them, even though he does seem to be the most well-equipped mentally to do it.
Few remaining black dragons out there. However, Wrathion was actually formed quite recently and is one of the youngest dragons out there, so it's not like he avoided corruption throughout the past 10,000, 20,000 years due to his mental fortitude and
he just wasn't born yet.
But more like he was a part of an experiment that ended up in his egg being purified, so really he was sort of an anomaly. Back then he self-proclaimed.
I would vote, Hendgrove says, I would vote Ebonhorn if I was a DRACTHYR, but the DRACTHYR human model looked very edgy, so they will probably go with Wrathion. What? Yeah. What's up, Jivo? How's it going? Yeah.
Himself as the last black dragon, and he personally identified as his father. Well, not really his father, but more like his father's original.
He definitely, Wrathion definitely identifies more with Deathwing than Ebonhorn does. I don't even know what Ebonhorn says about Deathwing. I'm sure he doesn't like him, or what happened with him.
Long ago, before the old god corruption and before he turned into Deathwing, the world destroyer, Neltharion, the Earthwarder, was the leader of the Black Dragonflight, and the Black Dragonflight was not evil at the time. Now, this Dragonflight was entrusted directly by the Titans to protect and defend Azeroth. Well, now Wrathion himself intends to become the new Neltharion, or at least that is what he has been wishing for years now. It is really his ultimate mission. His main goal was to fight that which corrupted his father, and he was quite successful, as in we managed to defeat N'Zoth at his invasion, and then Wrathion vowed that whatever remains of the Black Dragonflight will stand in defense of Azeroth alongside the champion, so essentially he will fulfill the original role of his father. Well,
correct.
Looks like now is going to be the time as we are going into the center of Dragon
Full dragon mode.
The Dragon Isles, and Blizzard
Welcome back,
officially
Panda
confirmed
Shaman.
that he will be playing a pretty big role. They literally talked about him in one of the interviews. They said something along the lines of us expecting that Wrathion will be doing his own thing, you know, sort of working for the greater good, but also being shady at the same time. So he might be our direct ally, but he could also be working against our interests to ultimately help us, if that makes any sense. However,
true, and if you guys remember in Mists of Pandaria, what did Wrathion do? He played both sides. He was not very trustworthy. If you were Horde on your side of the story, he aligned with the Horde and said the Horde he needs to help the Horde defeat the Alliance, so there is one faction that can fight against whatever is to come. Right? And then on the Alliance side, he said the same thing to the Alliance, that the Alliance should win, and he wanted to, and basically he pitted the two against each other to the point where he said whoever wins, he's going to be on the side of the one who wins, and then he will have his single faction that can fight against any threat as he saw was coming. So he's very snaky, right? You can't really trust Wrathion. So his intentions here to become the next leader of the Black Dragons, we gotta watch what he does, because he's willing to do some shady shit to get what he wants. Yeah, he was a double agent. Yes, he was.
What could he really
sounds like my ex.
What will be this role that
Bag says sounds like my ex.
Opinion,
Lil Sweet. There he is, Lil Sweet.
Much part of his story will tie into that of the DRACTHYR, a newly made race that will actually be playable. While new, they actually have quite a bit of potential, and it was confirmed by Blizzard that the DRACTHYR were created prior to his corruption back when he was Neltharion, the Earth Warder, and not Deathwing. They are a Draconid race that seemed to have been pretty important, as Neltharion literally crafted an entire zone off the coast of the Dragon Isles in order to just train them. Now, you may be thinking, why would he need this massive army? As Blizzard told us, in order to battle the Primalists, aka the followers of Galakrond, the biggest threat to Azeroth at the time, and also a threat that we will soon
The Primalists, I believe, we are going to fight them in the first raid in Dragonflight. We've seen the art of those little primal-looking dragons. There was a fire one, a wind-looking one, an earthen one, and what was it? I think maybe like a water one, but I think that the first raid, it's being speculated that we'll be fighting the Primalists in the raid. Live on the stream, of course.
And intelligence of dragons with the scrappiness of mortals, making this new dragon-like race that resembled humanoids. The isle itself has been dormant until recently for over 10,000 years, and now the return of an ancient enemy caused them to awake yet again and to join the Alliance and the Horde. We still don't know
who is that return of the ancient enemy. We still don't know. What woke up the Dragon Isles, right? The Legion came, the guy, Stoneboy stayed sleeping. Right? The old gods came. Stoneboy stayed sleeping. The corruption of Deathwing. Stoneboy stayed sleeping. Take it all the way back to Vanilla WoW. Right? The corruption, the elementals. Ragnaros. Stoneboy stayed sleeping. He never woke up until now. What threat was bigger than all of the ones I just mentioned? The Lich King even. The Stoneboy stayed sleeping. What threat was big enough to wake him up? We'll find out. We'll find out.
This will play out, but we know that the DRACTHYR will play a significant part of the new expansion, and that Wrathion is set to also play a really important role, so we can kind of connect the two. Since Neltharion, their leader,
an old god under the Dragon Isles is what you think?
Naturally.
I don't know. The old gods came and they didn't wake up before. Or maybe under the Dragon Isles. I don't know. The location is different, perhaps. I don't know.
Like the person that claims to be the new Neltharion may seek to rule over them or to take direct control. After all, Wrathion
we haven't seen the Void,
as the
Void Lords.
Neltharion, the uncorrupted version, and the
Maybe
DRACTHYR
them.
were his personal army that served the will of the Titans through their leader. While this may be his own ego, honestly, it really just seems realistic. The thing is, the Black Dragonflight is in complete shambles. You can literally count the survivors, the uncorrupted ones, on one hand. Now, while we might discover new members of the uncorrupted Black Dragonflight, because after all, we are going into their ancient homeland, let's think about it realistically. What are the DRACTHYR if not the Black Dragonflight? It seriously seems like this broken down Dragonflight will be getting a huge amount of reinforcements, like an entire army joining them, which might just just completely revive the Black Dragonflight and put them back on the board again. I'd say the DRACTHYR are more like the Draconids, but still, even the Draconids are a part of the other orders, so technically they are the Dragonflight even though they are not dragons themselves. As the Draconids serve dragons, it seriously seems natural that this army will become subordinate.
I thought we'd see more about these Draconids, because remember, we've seen them in Vanilla WoW. I mean, we've seen them for a long time now. These guys have been in game forever. I remember there was a raid, it wasn't Strathome. What the hell was that dungeon called? Where we saw these Draconids early on in Classic WoW. Bro, if I see the name, I know I'll remember it. Not Shadowfang Keep. Sholo Maze. Razorfin Downs? Was it Razorfin Downs where we used to see them? No. There was a dungeon. There was a dungeon where I remember we used to see a lot of these guys. Back in the Ragefin Chasm. No, man. A good amount of these fools, okay? There were a good amount of them. I do remember them. And we saw them all the time, and I was wondering if we'd get more story behind them. But evidently they're more like servants to the dragons rather than dragons themselves. So we might still see them. But not in a... And I don't think we'll get much lore about them as I thought we would. The Culling of Strathome? No, did we see these Dragonids in this Culling of Strathome? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we did. We did, because we even fought a dragon in the Culling. We fought a bronze drake in the Culling of Strathome, right? But there is another one that I'm thinking of. It's more like dungeon, you know. God, I can't remember. Was it the under? No. Was it the under? No. Anyways, I'll stop. Ranting here. We'll continue.
And more importantly, a direct descendant of their own leader. Now, while a lot of people have been speculating
the bronze
who
ranks
could
were
lead
big
the
in
Black
there,
Dragonflight and the DRACTHYR, let's be real, there really doesn't seem to be any sort of a significant choice. Until recently, we thought Wrathion was the
stole them
only
out from that
Black Dragon. Then we
time
discovered
run.
Ebonhorn, and there have been a few more whose status is either unknown or they're like half corrupted. So really, the most realistic choice would be Wrathion. The only question is, would they really accept him as their leader? Because these DRACTHYR are elite soldiers, thousands of years old, and Wrathion is literally just a whelp in terms of dragon years. Blizzard even sort of kind of hinted at this in one of the interviews. Steve the User said that Wrathion feels like the entire burden of reclaiming the Black Dragonflight is on him, and he fancies himself as someone who could take the reins of leadership and guide them and even resurrect the Dragonflight. However, that point of view is not exactly shared by other dragons, and they will question the methods he has used over the years and what his origins will mean for him as a dragon, but apparently Wrathion has a great journey ahead of him. Now, whether these other dragons Steve just mentioned are the other aspects or maybe other uncorrupted black dragons...
Those old models were so janked, man. Oh my god. The face only a mother could love right there. Look at that. God, they are like 2 pixels put together. Speaking of 2 pixels, there we go.
Just mentioned are the other aspects or maybe other uncorrupted black dragons that you might discover in the Dragon Isles is unclear. However, it makes sense. It would be hard for giants like Alexstrasza and Osdormu that are thousands of years old, nearly as old as Azeroth itself, to
look at
really
that model,
accept
man.
a whelpling as an equal to them. However, on the other hand, we can look at it from a more realistic side, as really there doesn't seem to be another worthy descendant, so either Wrathion can rule the DRACTHYR and revive the Black Dragonflight, or...
See, maybe I was thinking of the dungeons back at the Black Mountain, like, what's it called? The Burning Steps. God, there's dungeons where these fucking guys in them. I know.
There really don't seem to be any other significant options. Now, that is, of course, unless we discover something crazy on the Dragon Isles, as we will be going into the heart of their civilization. However, the DRACTHYR...
Was it Blackrock Depths? Blackrock Depths have a lot of these guys in it. Maybe it was Blackrock Depths that I'm thinking of. Ragefire Chasm, maybe. No, that was the Horde one. Maybe it was Blackrock Depths. I'm not going to sleep tonight, but that's all right.
And they will definitely need leadership. While Wrathion is young, he is a really established character.
Twilight Bastion,
it would really make sense that he would become the racial leader despite not being one of them. It would make more sense really than some just randomly introduced new DRACTHYR commander. So honestly, my speculation is that they may not accept him at first, but ultimately Wrathion will become their ruler. We know that both the Alliance and the Horde are getting an update to their leadership, and we will be learning more about it. it, and there will be some groundbreaking changes, so Wrathion may end up playing a role in this entire endeavor as well. Thank you for watching. Check out the leaked allied races for Dragonflight. There's a pre-order bonus by clicking on the screen.
Great as
Check out
always,
Academy
Dorn.
for videos of real-world history. See you next time.
Great as always. More Doran is always a good thing, and his speculation on Wrathion could be good. You know, we all know he's trying to claim the Black Dragonflight, right? He wants to take that leadership role. He's already emphasized his interest in doing so.